Hi, Neil Pointer again with a different challenge this time, and I want to raise something and put it out there as a debate. I think there is a potential perfect storm happening around thinking, and it's coming from three directions, and there's three clear factors that are really impacting people's ability to think. So, what are we doing about it? That's the challenge. If you're enjoying this stuff, please give me a comment at the end, because let's have the debate. Let's talk about what's going on here, and perhaps we can start encouraging some action about it. Also, subscribe, like, all the normal stuff. Anyway, so perfect storm on thinking. What's going on? Well, where did this come from? So this morning I got involved in a conversation on Twitter, and it started with quite a well-known political commentator, really quite aghast at the speed with which people had misconstrued what had been said while they were on television. And we got into a debate about things, about why is it that people don't seem to be able to engage in debate and thinking. And this got me into, well, so what is going on? So what are these three factors? First of all, and the irony of it is I'm going to be using one to put this out, is social media and technology. Everything I'm doing here. So please stop and think about this. It occurred to me earlier today that technology on our thinking, everything we do is now restrained or limited by the speed of our thinking. So your ability to reply to an email or to a text or to a Twitter conversation is only limited by your thinking time to come up with that solution and type it. In other words, you are the limiter. Now, if I go back 30 years, 40 years to when I started work, I knew that the mail only went out once a day. I had some time to think. I was not the limiting factor. Now, I wonder how much that pressure of being the limiting factor, that knowing I need to get a reply back to this person, or that I feel the pressure to get that reply back in, or to get that email out. I wonder how much that plays into and limits subconsciously the time that we think we've got to think. So there's one. Also, social media, I think there's a pressure to reply. So that whole social media technology angle, I think, is a pressure that plays out perhaps in restricting our ability to think, or our willingness, or that we're able or allowed to think. Come back with a comment, I'm intrigued. Secondly, the current world environment. Okay, I'm going to pull in my psychotherapy training here. We have a world that's quite anxiety inducing at the moment. We have still perhaps the hangover from COVID. We have Ukraine, the dreadful situation we're seeing there. We have cost of living crisis. We have inflation. We have political instability in a lot of countries. I wonder how much that is impacting people in that they don't feel safe at a level. And if people don't feel safe, they are starting to go into potentially fight, flight or freeze. That is where anxiety hits us. I've got to react to things. I've got to do things now. And also it perhaps impinges on our ability to be thinking calmly in other situations. This is not a happy world right now. So I wonder how that's playing out for people. The third factor is what I would call the post-truth 24-hour news cycle, where it would appear you are either on our side or you're not. You know, there doesn't appear to be the space anymore for dialogue, for critical thinking, to have shades of grey within the discussions that are going on. Now, is this also impacted by the technology and social media angle? I think perhaps there is a blend here. But if we lose the ability to think critically, oh, and by the way, I'm hearing from some commentators, not myself, and please comment if I'm getting this wrong, that there's a feeling that education at some levels is now no longer encouraging really good critical thinking. Now, if we don't teach people to think critically, if we don't have that environment where people can learn that debate and discourse and nuance is important, what we end up is polarization, and it's yes or no. It's you're with us or against us. And I've also, with the speed and everything else, it means I've got to make my decision now. And we end up losing that ability to think critically about things and potentially to come up with new solutions. So, 3 factors. What do you think? Those are just my thoughts. If we're a leader, what are we doing about it? If we're a team leader, manager, company director, what are we doing to help those things not happen? Are you creating a safe working environment? And I mean, actually people being able to come into work and feel that life's okay, that they're looked after, that they've got space and somewhere that's okay. We talk a lot about psychological safety. I'm talking about giving people a sense of calm, of well-being. I'm wondering how much that plays into people's thinking now. That we encourage people to slow down. And how do you slow down yourself? And also that we tell them that their thinking is wanted. How are you doing all that? How's that playing out for you? What are you seeing in your environments that is potentially impacting our ability to think and therefore make decisions, plan effectively, solve problems, all of those things where we need thinking? Okay, there you are. I'm wondering what's going on. I'm really interested to hear your ideas and thoughts. So please leave a comment. As I said before on some of the other videos, I'm currently writing up a sort of white paper thing about thinking and why it's so important. If you're interested in getting that, please drop me an email. Leave me a comment, leave me your email address, smoke signals, I don't mind, whatever works. And otherwise, just like and subscribe, please, and leave us a comment below. Just what are you doing now? Anyway, that's the end of that one. A bit of a midweek thought, this one, before we have our holiday in the UK. And anyway, so I hope that's useful. And yeah, I'll see you again soon.